Hi, I'm Skilla, and this is Nerd Stuff with Skilla, and today I'm going to be talking about episode 4 of season 2 of Stranger Things. This episode is called Will the Wise, which is a really good title, I think. It ties in with his D&D character and also kind of lets you know that he's gaining some knowledge throughout this episode. Lots of knowledge, really. This video will contain spoilers for Stranger Things up through season 2, episode 4, so if you haven't gotten caught up, get that way and then come back and watch this video. We pick back up with the boys at the school. Joyce has realized that they're not in their AV club. She runs into the kids and they all realize that Will is outside in this field and he's like, his eyes are fluttering and stuff. And it looks like the shadow monster, who I've been calling the tornado monster because that's what he looks like, is like soaking into him. And that leads to him having like the same knowledge as the shadow monster does to a degree. He knows where it is and what it's doing. And he calls them now memories, like, because they're not things that are happening to him, but happening to somebody else. They're memories. Will, throughout this episode, starts, like, sketching out all of these giant, like, it looks like I thought it was a map from the very beginning. Not from the very beginning, but when they started putting the pieces together, I was like, that's a map of some kind. Hopper, like, starts putting the pieces together, and he's like, oh, these could be vines. So he goes to the pumpkin patch that he's already been involved with and starts digging a hole. Now, he digs that hole straight to the bottom, and he is in the upside down. You see the screen tilt and change, and he is not in a good place right now. That's at the very end of the episode. That is the absolute end of the episode. Before all of that happens, 11 comes back home, and her and Hop get into it really bad. Like, they are both overly emotional, and neither of them are dealing with the situation well. So 11's using her powers to kind of intimidate Hopper, and Hopper's trying to intimidate her with his being the adult in this situation. And he grounds her, and he takes the TV cord out of the wall. And later on he tells her that if she wants to have the TV fixed, then she needs to clean up the mess in the morning because she blew out like all of the windows and everything that night. While Hopper's away doing all this other stuff with Will and Joyce, she is cleaning up a little bit begrudgingly, and she finds a trap door in the floor, and it leads to a basement that has all these boxes with different titles on them, but one of them is titled Hawkins Lab. So she opens that bitch up because she knows there's some juicy stuff in there. She opens it up and she finds out that her real name is probably Jane, and it turns out her real name's Jane. And her real mother's name is Terry Ives. So she finds a picture of Terry in this box, and she like holds the picture to her heart, and she sees Terry, and she's in a rocking chair, and she's repeating the same things over and over again. She's saying rainbow, 3 on the left, 4 on the right, 450, breathe, and sunflowers. She tries to approach her mother, and when she goes to touch her, she turns to smoke, and 11 is just like sitting there weeping and calling out mama, and is like super sad. Super sad. The next plot that we're following is Nancy and Jonathan, and they are at a park, and they think that everybody's kind of watching them. It seems that way, and it turns out they are. They're being watched by Hawkins Lab, and they're taken back to the lab when their car doesn't start, and the guys at the lab are like, we've got a whole new team of scientists and things aren't bad anymore, and if the knowledge of this giant disgusting portal over here, if you haven't seen it before, that's it. If the Russians find out about that, then we are all screwed. So they're like burning back parts of these vines with like a flamethrower. Nancy was recording the whole time that they were there. She had like a voice recorder in her purse, and she was recording all of the conversations that they were having. So she thinks she's got proof that's going to really get them where they need to be as far as solving Barb's disappearance and giving her parents some closure, and I guess giving herself some closure too. We see a little snippet where Max is really upset that she's not part of the party, and she leaves, and she's really upset, particularly with Lukas, and because Lukas is trying to like make amends, but he doesn't want to tell her the whole story because he knows that it sounds crazy, and because he feels like her life would be in danger if he did tell her, and she thinks that's all bullshit. Close to the end of the episode, we are back with Lukas at his house, and he's checking in on Dart, and it turns out Dart killed his sweet little kitty cat and has like a Demogorgon face, and it looks like he's a little baby Demogorgon. And Lukas is just keeping that in his own little house, and I don't know why he didn't immediately go and call everybody. It's crazy. I really like this episode a lot. It's called Will the Wise, and you know, Will gets all that extra knowledge in this episode, which I thought was really smart for them to do. I think that all of the characters are interesting. I'm not bored with anybody. There's nobody who I just don't want to see when they're on screen. Even Billy, who's a total douche the whole time, like at least his scenes are interesting, and I really want to find out what's going on. Like, are he and Max step siblings or something? Or maybe they have some other kind of ties. I don't know. It's interesting, and I'm glad that they're kind of holding their cards right now, because I hope that it's an interesting plotline that develops and isn't just, oh, they're step siblings and that's it. He's just being a jerk about it for no reason because he's just a jerk. Maybe his dad's a jerk too. Who knows? But that's still interesting. Leave me a comment down below if you want to have a conversation about season 2 of Stranger Things. Please don't get too spoilery. Again, I have not seen the whole series, and I'm sure that a lot of people have not seen the whole series. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you want to hear about more nerdy things from me. And as always, thank you so much for watching.